unification of Germany between 1864 and 1871 was a monumental political and military achievement, culminating in the establishment of the German Empire under Prussian leadership. This process was a result of strategic diplomacy, military victories, and the efforts of key figures like Otto von Bismarck, the Chancellor of Prussia. The unification of Germany reshaped the political landscape of Europe and set the stage for future conflicts, particularly World War I. This article will outline the key events, challenges, and consequences of Germany's unification. Background: the German Confederation and the rise of Prussia. Before 1864, the region that would become Germany was not a unified state. Instead, it was composed of numerous independent kingdoms, duchies, and city-states. These entities were loosely connected through the German Confederation, an organization created by the Congress of Vienna in 1815 after Napoleon's defeat. The Confederation consisted of 39 states, with Austria being the dominant force, although Prussia was also an influential player. Throughout the early 19th century, the idea of German unification began to gain traction among intellectuals and reformers, influenced by the nationalistic sentiments that were sweeping across Europe. However, it wasn't until the mid-19th century that the drive toward unification began to take a concrete form. Prussia, a militarily powerful and economically dynamic state in northern Germany, emerged as the driving force behind the unification effort. Otto von Bismarck, the architect of unification. Otto von Bismarck, the Prime Minister of Prussia, played a pivotal role in the unification process. His political philosophy, known as Realpolitik, emphasized pragmatic and opportunistic decision-making, often disregarding ideological considerations. Bismarck was a master of diplomacy, using alliances, manipulation, and military force when necessary to achieve his goals. Bismarck's vision for a unified Germany was one in which Prussia would lead, but the country would be composed of German-speaking states under the banner of the German Empire. Bismarck carefully orchestrated events that would allow Prussia to dominate the process of unification while minimizing the risk of intervention by other European powers. The Danish War, 1864. The first significant step toward unification came in 1864 when Prussia and Austria allied to defeat Denmark in the Second Schleswig War. The conflict was sparked by Denmark's annexation of the duchies of Schleswig and Holstein, which were home to German-speaking populations. Prussia, with its growing influence, sought to protect the rights of the German-speaking people in these territories. The war was relatively short, and Denmark was forced to surrender the duchies. However, the question of who would govern the newly acquired territories was contentious. Austria and Prussia agreed to jointly administer Schleswig and Holstein, but tensions quickly arose between the two powers over their respective roles in the region. This disagreement would lead to further conflict and eventually set the stage for war between Prussia and Austria. The Austro-Prussian War, 1866. Bismarck recognized that for a unified Germany to emerge, the dominant role of Austria within the German Confederation needed to be challenged. Austria's influence over the Confederation and its rivalry with Prussia stood in the way of German unity under Prussian leadership. In 1866, Bismarck engineered a war between Prussia and Austria, known as the Austro-Prussian War or the 7 Weeks' War. Using diplomatic maneuvering, Bismarck isolated Austria from potential allies and ensured that France and other European powers would remain neutral. Prussia's military superiority, particularly its use of the modern needle gun, played a key role in the swift defeat of Austria. The war ended with the Treaty of Prague, which resulted in the dissolution of the German Confederation and the creation of the North German Confederation, a new political entity dominated by Prussia. Austria was excluded from German affairs, and the northern German states were united under Prussian leadership. This marked a significant step toward the creation of a unified Germany. The Franco-Prussian War, 1870 to 1871. Although the North German Confederation had been established, the southern German states, such as Bavaria, Baden, and Württemberg, remained independent and were hesitant to join the new union. To achieve full unification, Bismarck needed to secure the support of these southern states, and he knew that this could be achieved only through war with a common enemy. The opportunity came in 1870 when a diplomatic incident, the Ems Dispatch, was manipulated by Bismarck to provoke France into declaring war on Prussia. The French Emperor Napoleon III, seeking to assert his influence over the Spanish throne, had expressed interest in a candidate who was related to the Prussian royal family. This diplomatic tension was skillfully escalated by Bismarck, who altered the details of a communication between the Prussian King Wilhelm I and the French ambassador to make it appear that the Prussians had insulted the French. France declared war on Prussia on July 19, 1870, and the conflict quickly became a rallying point for the southern German states. They joined the war on the side of Prussia, seeing it as an opportunity to protect their own interests and preserve their autonomy within the German Confederation. The Franco-Prussian War was a resounding victory for Prussia. The Prussian army, led by General Helmuth von Moltke, swiftly defeated the French in several key battles, including the decisive Battle of Sedan in September 1870, where Napoleon III was captured. The French were forced to sign an armistice, and France agreed to the terms of the Treaty of Frankfurt in 1871, which included the cession of the provinces of Alsace and Lorraine to Germany. Had the Proclamation of the German Empire, 1871. The defeat of France and the subsequent unification of Germany were marked by a historic event on January 18, 1871, when the King of Prussia, Wilhelm I, was crowned as Emperor of the new German Empire, the Second Reich, in the Hall of Mirrors at the Palace of Versailles. The unification of Germany was now complete, with the southern German states joining the North German Confederation to form a single powerful nation-state. Bismarck had achieved his goal of creating a unified Germany, and he did so without the need for widespread popular support or a democratic revolution. The German Empire was an autocratic state with a constitutional monarchy, and it was dominated by Prussia. The German states retained some autonomy, but the power of the emperor and the Prussian military was paramount. Consequences of the unification of Germany. The unification of Germany had profound consequences for Europe and the world. First and foremost, it shifted the balance of power in Europe. Germany emerged as a new and powerful nation-state, surpassing France and Austria in terms of military strength and industrial capacity. The new German Empire was also an economic powerhouse, and its unification set the stage for rapid industrialization and the growth of German imperial ambitions. The creation of the German Empire also had significant political implications. The dominance of Prussia within the empire meant that the northern German states were more politically aligned with the interests of the Prussian aristocracy and military elite than with the more liberal or democratic elements in southern Germany. The newly unified state, although officially a federal empire, was heavily centralized around the Prussian monarchy and the military. The unification of Germany also altered the European diplomatic landscape. France, humiliated by its defeat in the Franco-Prussian War and the loss of Alsace and Lorraine, harbored resentment toward Germany, which would contribute to the tensions that eventually led to World War I. The German Empire's rise also prompted Britain, Russia, and Austria-Hungary to reassess their foreign policies, setting the stage for a complex system of alliances and rivalries that would define European politics in the decades to come. The unification of Germany between 1864 and 1871 was one of the most significant events in 19th century European history. Through a combination of military victories, diplomatic maneuvering, and strategic alliances, Otto von Bismarck successfully united the German-speaking states under Prussian leadership, creating a powerful empire that would shape the course of European and world history. The legacy of German unification would reverberate throughout the 20th century, influencing the outbreak of both World War I and the broader political landscape of Europe.